Welcome to the Live Full, Work Fun podcast. This is the show to encourage you to live your life to the fullest and do fun work that fuels your lifestyle. Hi, I'm your host, Gayla Scrivener. Every week, you'll be introduced to amazing guests, useful resources, and inspirational stories. You'll discover opportunities and perspectives to shape your version of living full and working fun. Well, hi there, and welcome to the show. If this is your first time here, thanks for stopping by. I'm glad you're checking out the show. And if you're returning, welcome back. It's always so great to have you here. Now, are you a part of the Live Full, Work Fun community yet? If not, be sure to hop over to Facebook and join the Live Full, Work Fun group. Well, I have to tell you, I am so proud to introduce you to today's guest. Connie Pack is the owner of Tuckdin Marketing, a digital marketing and consulting agency. As an entrepreneur and business owner for over 10 years, she understands the pains and frustrations individuals and companies face when working to create an effective and successful online presence, and has built an agency that focuses on creating efficient and automated marketing systems that deliver bottom-line results. Her passion is helping clients scale and grow their business to levels they never thought possible and bringing their visions to life with focused marketing strategies customized for their needs. She calls Southern California her home, absolutely loves finding new, delicious, hole-in-the-wall places to eat, and spends every free minute she has going on adventures with her husband and 2 sons. Now, I met Connie last year, and it wasn't until after the event where I was first introduced to her that I learned more about her through her website. And I have to tell you, I was really drawn to her intro video on her homepage of her website. Well, there's no use of waiting. Let's get talking with Connie. Connie, I know that way back in August, we met at an event. At the event, I didn't have a chance to really get to know you that well. Well, then after, I was perusing everybody's website that, I had met, and I got onto your website. And I have to tell you, I watched your video on your homepage, and I was kicking myself that I did not get to talk with you more and learn about you more. So today, I am so glad that you're here with me, because selfishly, this is a wonderful day because I get to know you better. So thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here with your newly branded podcast. I'm super excited.
In the intro, I told everybody a little bit about you already, but I would love for you to start off by telling something about yourself that may have not been covered in the bio.
I think what people may not know about me is that my husband and we became entrepreneurs and we lived the life we wanted without having the income to start. We kind of dove right in. It's not recommended. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone, but we were young. This was over 15 years ago. We didn't have kids. We knew the life we wanted because we didn't want the 8 to 5, come home, put your kids to bed and start all over and work for a company. We just didn't want to do that for the rest of our lives. So we just jumped into entrepreneurship as a couple. So we are an entrepreneur couple, and we've worked together for many, many years on the same businesses. So we start off with real estate because my husband was a real estate licensed broker, and it was an easy transition to flip houses here in California. It was actually a fad, a trend to do that, and it was fun. I got to work with my husband, who's my best friend, and it was just an amazing journey. We would have projects in Palm Springs, which is almost 2 hours away. So then we'd make a trip out of it. We would stay overnight, have dinner out there. So it was, and fill our days with our meetings and things. So we lived the life that we loved. And then we were like, we're going to figure out the income afterwards.
Oh, I love that. I love that you just You jumped in and you felt like, hey, we're young, we don't have kids, let's just take some risks. In your video, you had mentioned that you left the 8 to 5 job and you had this 2 hour commute. Was that like an hour each way or 2 hours each way?
It was an hour each way, so 2 hours round trip for me and almost 3 hours for my husband.
That is a big chunk of your day. Was that the major tipping point of, hey, there's got to be something better? Or was there something else that triggered? Was there frustration or just like, life's too short? Let's just quit our jobs and start something for ourselves?
That's a great question. I think it was a combination. So it's the commute. So then not being able to see at that time we had no kids. So it was just not being able to see my husband for very long in a day and seeing us at our worst because we're just exhausted after working the 8 hours, day and then the commute. The final draw was just not feeling fulfilled. You know, that feeling where you work so hard and you put your all into a project and then you just don't feel like you got the appreciation for what you did. Or let's just say what you did has helped the company grow so much. And then you don't really, you might get a pat on the back, but you don't really see the fruits of your labor in other ways, like the way you can with entrepreneurship, where, the harder you work, the more you can earn. And, and it's not about the money, but it's just, it allows you to be able to buy the home and do the things you want to do, travel and things like that. So
you went for the lifestyle. There had to be something better and the money came later. The income, it's like, okay, let's figure this out. How can we make this go? Were there ever any moments that you're like, oh, this is so hard, I should go find the regular 8 to 5?
Ironically, there wasn't. Even in the hard moments. Yeah. And I think that I've always just had the entrepreneur spirit. So it was always, okay, how are we going to fix this? How are we going to take it day by day and get through this hurdle that we're coming into? And in the real estate space, you run across a lot of hurdles, managing contractors and things like that. It's an up and down ride. And so we've run into a lot of hurdles, and it was always, and we had each other. And I think that's where the partnership is really valuable, because I wasn't completely alone. My husband and I were doing the business together. And so we had each other to lean on and when I was down, he would lift me up. And when he was down, I'd lift him up. So it really helped to have that too.
Not everybody can work with their husband. So what makes your special sauce? You did mention he's your best friend, but what's the special sauce in working with a spouse?
I get that a lot. I talk to a lot of people and they're always telling me I could never work with my husband. I would probably kill him. Like, I just, we have always, well, I should probably mention we've dated for, I want to say we dated for 7 years, engaged a year, and now we've been married for 13 years. So we've been together for almost 20 years now, as of now, and I'm 40 years old. So I've known him for half my life at this point. So we've had lots of time to learn how to communicate. And I think that was the key, just being able to, if I'm frustrated, I can tell him I'm frustrated. If I'm upset with him, same thing. And then vice versa. If he's not happy with something that I'm doing or the way I handled something, he lets me know. And we give each other the critique and the feedback, and we're able to hear it and decide if we want to fix it. But we're able to communicate that to each other. So then I know, okay, this affects him in this way. We take a ton of assessments and personality tests, like Enneagrams, Berkman, Colby tests. We love those things. We eat those up because it gives us even more insight as to how we can work together better, like how we're wired so differently, but how it could be such a blessing in the context of our business. Because I'm way more sensitive. I'm way more in tune with the emotional side. He's not. So when it came to the hard negotiating, I'm like, okay, I feel bad. Let's just give them the house. And then he's like, no. And so we have that balance. And so the differences make us special. So when we butt heads because of the differences, we have to understand that there's a good part of it, and then there's the harder part that just needs a little more work.
Well, you should pat yourself on the back, and it's really good to have that type of relationship. Even though you've had the longevity of 20 years of knowing him, not everybody has that or works at together as a couple, that communication piece. And that is so special. You're not doing, well, you may be. Are you doing real estate anymore? I know you have working in the marketing world. So do you own more than one business, or are you a marketing business only?
Yeah. So when I mentioned, so we had always worked together. The part where we actually separated a little bit is when I started my marketing business. And so this became my own. And what happened was he continued to take over all the real estate. So we do have a development project currently in LA. We're building 2 single family residences side by side. It's near the Dodger Stadium here in Southern California. And so he's managing that. So he's taken over the real estate. He has an e-commerce store, an Amazon e-commerce store. He manages that. I guess because these are all the businesses we kind of picked up over the years. He has a warehouse and for e-commerce sellers and things like that. He's taken over and continues to manage all of those businesses we've built over the years. And my role in all those businesses has always been operations and marketing. So then it was such an easy transition to then say, I'm doing marketing for our own businesses, but with all that I've learned, with the certifications I've gotten and things like that, I could help other entrepreneurs so that they don't have to spend all that time and money learning all these things, and I can help guide them in their marketing. And that's kind of how I transitioned out. And I'm absolutely loving being able to work with entrepreneurs. And we still are connected because we still have our date nights where we keep each other up to date on what's going on in each other's businesses. But we're finally kind of and running our own business a little bit more separately.
So does your marketing business market for your husband's business?
It does, yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that's kind of cool how you can intermingle that, but then have a separate piece and a separate business model. So tell us about your marketing company and what you do and how you serve your clients.
My marketing company is it's called Tuckdin Marketing, and the company name I have to mention. The name Tuckdin came up back with our real estate days, back before kids. My husband used to tuck me in at night, so you're tucked in, and then with real estate investments, we thought we're going to tuck away your investments. So that's where the name came from, but it stuck. We have Tuckdin Investments. We have Tuckdin Commerce for our e-commerce. So then when I started my marketing, we just kind of continued the Tuckdin name. So it may not make sense in the marketing context, but it's a personal connection that we have to the name.
I love that. I love that. So I see that you're a Clickfunnels expert. Can you tell us about Clickfunnels? Why Clickfunnels?
Yeah, so I had attended Russell Brunson, who's the founder and owner of Clickfunnels, his first event back in 2000. The first event I attended was back in 2016. And I went because his guest speaker was Marcus Lemonis, who is like my all-time favorite show, The Profit. And when he had mentioned, when he shares about marketing, it just makes sense. Like the way he shares the marketing concepts. And so I do mention his concepts a lot, like hook, story, offer, and all these things that he says, the big domino. And so when he had the opportunity, gave us the opportunity to become a ClickFunnels certified partner, I raised my hand and I'm like, I think this is the time. And that was when I pivoted away from working as a partner with my husband. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. I spent a year going through the certification, nothing but the certification. I felt like I was going to grad school. For someone who is a non-tech, where anytime something broke, I would ask my husband to fix it. Like I couldn't get this app to work, and to now understanding how to set up domains, how to, understanding how to do all these very technical things. I think a lot of people were very amazed that I suddenly became very technical. And that's where I feel like I can relate to a lot of the entrepreneurs because I've been there. I didn't have an IT background. I did have a marketing background, but I didn't have an IT background, and tech was new to me, and I figured it out. I took some time. I know how to word it in a very simplified way. I don't use the tough jargon, and I may not have the correct exact technical way of saying something, but I have my own version and it makes sense. And so I think what really clicked was that I can take all this tech concepts, the techno babble, Russell would say, and I can interpret it for an entrepreneur in a very simple way. And so I'm kind of like that mediator in between. And suddenly it's not so confusing. And that's when I started to realize that's actually something cool. Like the fact that I went on that journey myself and I went through the pains where I was about to give up. Like, I don't know how to do this subdomain setup. Like it's frustrating. And I would have to walk away from it for a week. And then when I push myself. And now when I see my client doing it, don't worry, we got you. I'm going to take care of this for you. It's a one-time setup and you never have to do it again. And I would love being able to just take that like off their plate, because as entrepreneurs, you're wearing so many different hats. You shouldn't have to know everything there is to know about marketing tech, at least on the tech side, so much. And I love being able to see that sense of like, oh my goodness, thank you so much. Like you just like I struggled with this. I get these comments on my YouTube channel all the time, and it makes me so happy. They're like, I've been trying to figure this thing out for 2 weeks on how to verify my domain on Facebook. And I watched your 2-minute video and I got it done in 10 minutes. Like, thank you so much. And I'm like, oh, you're welcome. I don't know who you are, but like that just makes my heart warm, where I'm like, I want to help people simplify their life. And I can't do it manually, like for everyone, but like that's why the YouTube channel has been kind of something that I really treasure. And I just put all my content out there. I don't have any paid courses or anything because I just want people to hear it.
I have a little bit of experience with ClickFunnels, and there's a lot of setup to that. There are a lot of details to fulfilling the pieces of the funnel that's explained in his books. It's a good product in my mind. In an entrepreneur, maybe a life coach, for example, that has a book of business but wants to scale their business and chooses ClickFunnels, I think, hey, having Connie come help just set it up and be done with it is the best investment ever, because I have seen some people be frustrated with ClickFunnels because they choose a tool and they think, okay, now I have this tool and magically it's going to work. No, it's comforting to hear that you, the expert in ClickFunnels, had to get over some of these humps. You too had gotten frustrated. So you know how to explain, cut through the garbage and explain, okay, this is really how you do it. And I'm going to talk to you in plain language. So is that what your YouTube channel is about, is tutorials?
It is. It's mostly tutorials. It talks about the different funnels, a lot of Facebook ads, just different things in marketing. But I feel like the how-to videos have been really great in the sense that I feel like I'm able to help solve that problem.
Do you have any pieces of advice of if somebody is wanting to maybe consider purchasing ClickFunnels as a tool in their business? Do you have any bits of advice to give them before they purchase?
Yes, I do. If you are first starting out, I would hold off on signing up for ClickFunnels. That should be one of the later steps to take. What you really need to do is first strategize, whether you use a pen and paper, just strategize what it is your value ladder, your funnel ladder, I think Russell says. So what's the first step of that customer journey? What's the next step? And I use that terminology of your love language. When you first meet each other and you guys are like strangers having your first date, to then, you become friends, you're now friends, you can go grab a coffee, to, you're more dating now, you're committed, and then you're, married. Like, you have to have that customer journey for your business, and simpler the better. I know some people have come to me with like, I want 5 different freebies to give out, and they're going to come in through all these channels, and I have like 10 different products. I would say keep it simple. One freebie to start. Where does that freebie lead to? I would even recommend, don't even bother with creating a product. Have some sort of freebie that leads to book a call with you. Hear what they need and then create it. Don't just create something and then say, oh, by the way, I think you need this. Oh, you don't? Sorry. Like you didn't hear from them. And so keep it simple, have the freebie, and then talk to them. Have a book a call funnel on the back end, and let them tell you what you need. And then you can start creating the rest. So let's just say you have your freebie, you know what you want to offer as your opt-in for people to come into your ecosystem, then look at other people's funnel. Like everyone is offering something for people to opt into. So look at others, look at the designs, look at the colors of what others look like. Pick and, kind of like before you do your family photo shoot, you go and look at what other outfits people use, like what kind of poses and what backgrounds. Do that research about your funnel. And so look at some of your competitors, or maybe someone outside of your industry, but you love like their branding. Compile that. Once you have that, you can easily have a VA. If you're not a designer by nature, just hire a VA to say, I like this site, this site, this site. This is my freebie. Can you design me, just designing on like a PDF, like something for my freebie? They can design that. Once you approve that, now you're in the build. So it's like at this point, you're probably past a 2-week, the 14-day free trial at that point, and you're now being charged, but you didn't need to, because you didn't need the software yet. So now you have what you need to build. So now you hire a VA to say, I want you to just build this. What's exactly on this page? And then a 2-page opt-in should be a very simple build. That at that point you need the software, and then usually whoever you hire for that can do all the setup for you. Or I have videos on my YouTube channel that can also help as well. And that gets you your freebie. And then that should lead into, hey, if you'd like to learn more, book a con, let's talk. I'd love to have a chat with you. And that's how you can build your pipeline.
Do you think people might automate a little too soon? Like, should we do things manually first to kind of like, okay, what should the flow be? So you think?
Absolutely. You hit it right on the nail. People come to me not having sold anything, and they're like showing me this diagram of these elaborate automations. They're like, I want all this automated. I want 10 emails that go out here, 10 emails that go out there. And I'm thinking, but you haven't sold this yet. You've never proven any of this yet you're going to automate everything. It's like that classic question when people say, so when I do a webinar, should I do a live webinar or a pre-recorded webinar? Well, if you haven't proven the webinar could sell, why would you just blindly record one by yourself and then put that out there and then say, no one's buying my product? Well, have you ever sold it like live? It has to be a winning webinar to start with. So Russell Brunson even says, do a webinar every single week. That's 52 webinars a year. And then the one that brought in the most sale, you then use that as your pre-recorded webinar moving forward, because you know that your energy level, like what you said, the way you said your points, it all connected with your audience. And so people tend to go too quickly to, oh, I don't want to be doing these live ones. It takes up too much time. I'd rather just record once and put it up there. I'm like, oh, and then when it doesn't work, they're like, oh, this whole webinar thing just doesn't work. No, that's not that. That's not the reason.
It's not that. Do you consult with clients to get them to the point of being able to, a good place to automate? So maybe they've got this idea, but they need some hand holding in what's my first step? I know I need to do all of this. And I'm sure that ClickFunnels is the direction I want to go, but I'm not ready for ClickFunnels. Connie, can you help me get ready for ClickFunnels? Is that part of your service?
Absolutely. And that's the part I love, when they are open to understanding what would be the proper process before hiring an agency and before paying for ads and things like that. I've been on sales calls where they had just paid someone else to build this elaborate webinar funnel, but they're going on maternity leave. And so they were passed on to me to run the traffic. And I basically said, "You have not sold this, right?" And she said, "No, you don't need to hire me right now. You need to go out organically, go to different Facebook groups relevant to what it is you're offering, and just see if people would be interested in the webinar, the free webinar, through organic methods, like to connect with your network and things like that." So yeah, absolutely. So we ended up having this strategy call. It was supposed to be a sales call. It turned out to be a strategy call. And she's like, "Wow, I got so much value out of that." And I was like, "I just want to save you money and save you time, because I don't want to, I don't agree with people who just, yeah, I'll take your money because you're willing to give it." Yeah, there's just so much of that where people have paid $10,000 for something that just doesn't work. You don't need that yet. But yeah, happy to hop onto any sort of consultation call or anything. That's the part I love doing, just being able to guide them in the right direction.
And I can just imagine, maybe I'm projecting, but the vibe that I'm getting is like, hey, I want you to have the good value. I want to set you on the right path. You also have a lot of experience with Facebook ads. So if somebody wanted to work with you on placing a Facebook ad, there's a lot to get to know them first before making an ad effective.
Yeah, there's a lot that needs to be done beforehand before the ads come into play, because my motto is the ads just enhance what's already working. So if it's not working organically, it's not a magic process that suddenly brings in all these leads, that just because you put ads to it. And that's a common misconception where, okay, well, it's not working, but I think if I put some ads to it, I can get it to work. It just enhances. So if you can't get it to work organically, it's not going to work with the ads. And so a lot of times when they come, I'm ready to spend, $3,000, $5,000 on ads because I think it should work, but it's just not working over here for some reason. But I think ads will work. And I'm like, no, we need to revisit what your offer is, because something about your offer isn't connecting with your audience. And we got to make sure it is working over here before we do this over here.
What I love about you, Connie, is that you're very personable and that you genuinely care, and that there is the tech piece. Maybe somebody's coming to you because they're like, I don't want to fool with the tech piece. You help me place these ads. You help me make this funnel in my ClickFunnels account. Just help me do the technical stuff. But what I like about you is that you put on the brakes and say, hey, it's more than just pushing the buttons. We have to make a logical transition in order to make the technical work. And the whole purpose of the technical part of it is still being meaningful, personable, genuine, and providing the value to our client's audience. So I just love that about you, that you get to the root of it. You know that it takes the words, the personality, the value
Thank
to
you.
connect with that technical piece.
Thank you. And another thing I would say for anyone who's looking to hire for any of these things, funnels or ads, I would encourage you to ask that person to send you links of everything that they're doing, because people can make mistakes. We're all human. And so it's really important that both sides work hand in hand. So I just want to encourage, like, don't be too standoffish. Like, oh, I'm going to completely trust this person that knows what they're doing and they're going to do it because it's your business. Ask for it. Like, I'd like to see the links of all the ads so I can click on it as if I'm a customer and I can see where it goes and give feedback to what I think is happening here. and kind of work together as a team. Think of it as like a team sport. And I would just really encourage that. I think that will really cut out any wasted time, wasted money, really quickly, and get both sides on the same page, because there is a little bit of a growing pains as you kind of get to know a new business for the media buyer or the marketer, and then also for the entrepreneur.
Yeah, working as a team. What a concept. It's not just, hey, I'm just buying a widget. It's combining brain power, and beautiful things can happen, tapping into each other's expertise. What has been your biggest reward in your transition in entrepreneurship?
Wow, that's a great question. I think my biggest reward has been just my freedom of being able to travel with the family anytime we wanted to. I just take my laptop and I can still do some work if I like, but not having to, call in paid time off or things like that, with the HR manager. And so just that flexibility of time and being able to create my own schedule, and the freedom that I have with the family, like just being able to have breakfast with the kids or lunch with the kids anytime I want. If I just pencil it into my schedule, I could make anything happen. And that was our goal back when we were in our 20s. And we jumped in head first. And just as we got older and wiser, made some mistakes along the way. And that's another thing. I've used ClickFunnels for so long. I feel like I've made so many mistakes that when I see something, I know exactly where the problem is because I've already made the mistake. So that helps. And so I just feel like when I see people who are kind of stuck at their job and frustrated and things, I'm very grateful. I have to say I'm very grateful for what entrepreneurship has provided for myself and our family.
In your business, who do you have a particular niche or a particular type of entrepreneur that you help?
That has evolved as well. So because of my e-commerce background and my real estate background, when I first started, I did help a lot of realtors and a lot of people who sold physical products. But that's evolved because as I started to build my own personal brand, I started getting connected with some amazing people like Mike Kim and Lauren, and just a bunch of great people that you and I both know at the Nashville event. I have found there is so many people who are in need of a personal brand, who are making this pivot in their life, that wants to be able to truly help others and really do good in this world. And I love being able to being able to support in that. And so it's been amazing to kind of be able to take away that headache, the thing that causes them stress, and to be able to help them focus on what they do best, which is help and heal others, and in their special ways that they do as coaches and consultants and things like that. So it's kind of shifted into that space.
Good thing. Well, there was something that popped into my head a while ago that left me, and now it's back. I just think it is wonderful how you were brave enough in your 20s to take the leap, take the risks, and just do it. I admire you a lot for doing that. It took me until I was in my 40s before I felt like I could take those risks.
Mm.
It's just a different life, I just really admire you for doing that at such a young age. What we don't know, and we just jump in and just do it. I guess, what is it called? Ignorance is bliss. That's a good thing, right? So
Absolutely.
I love that. Well, Connie, would you be kind enough to share maybe your favorite resource or book that has really made a difference, either professionally or personally, for you?
Oh, that's a good one. There's so many. Okay. I will say I agree with you. I have all of Russell Brunson's book, but .com Secrets was really the one that just clicked for me when it comes to marketing. And I follow a lot of those principles. And those are the ones I share a lot with my clients. And so .com Secrets from a professional level has been a really, really great book for building out automations and funnels and things like that. I think for me, like personally, for growth and things like that, there's a book called The Compound Effect. And I'm constantly reminded that we all start at different places, but it's the small shift that you make on the choice you make on a daily basis that can change the trajectory of where you go. And I'm really taking that to heart this year as we start 2022, because, my health, I'd like to, get my health at a certain place. I like to do my gratitude journal every day. I like to do some devotionals every day, and just certain practices I'd like to put in place I've been not doing as much in the past. And I'm feeling it's good to really take care of ourselves as we're easily filling our time with busyness, especially as parents or moms and things like that. And so that's kind of my focus for this year, to just really reflect as I'm living my life. And I have this domain. I'm shocked that it was available, but it's journey, not the destination.
Oh, I love it.
I can't believe it was available.
So you're building that domain out?
So it's going to be my blog site. So I wanted to just share about, the pains. Like, I mean, when we were in our real estate days, we almost had to file bankruptcy at one point. So we've had our low moments, and we have our highs, and, to stay grounded and to stay focused on what's important in life. Like, work is important, but what was really important with that shift of the e-commerce to helping the coaches is that some of the e-commerce clients was all about the money, and it was just money in order to sell the business so that they could cash out. And that just didn't feel like something I wanted to be alongside, partnering, like being that team with, versus like who I am serving now, and things like that. I just really feel like the compound effect has been great in just reminding me of how important that is in our life.
Wonderful, Connie. It has been such a pleasure to have a conversation with you. I'm so glad that I reached out to you. It's been a joy to get to know you better today.
It has been such a pleasure to be here. And I'm equally sad that we didn't talk more at the event, but I'm so glad we got to get to know each other here today. Thank you so much for having me.
Maybe our virtual paths will come to a live path crossing soon. So I hope so.
I do too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, thanks for being here with me today. I truly admire Connie's entrepreneurial spirit. There are ups and downs in living a full life and discovering fun work to fuel your lifestyle. What was your biggest takeaway from today's show? Let's continue the conversation. Hop over to Facebook and post what your biggest takeaway is on today's show in the Live Full, Work Fun Facebook group. Down there in the show notes, you're going to see how you can stay connected with Connie, and you'll get the Facebook group link. So hop on down to the show notes and get all those relevant links. Now, I hope you did enjoy the episode, and I'd love for you to do me just this tiny favor. Please share the episode with one person. Just one person you know who you might find that the episode is helpful. Just text the link to them. Well, thanks again for listening. And until next time, have a fantastic week. Live full, work fun.